Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this Town Council regular session meeting to order for November 15th, 2023. And item number 1, as always, is the Pledge of Allegiance. And Councilor White, if you would lead us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You don't have a microphone.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilor White. Item 2 is roll call, and all the councilors are present and accounted for.
Councilor Dornbluth, I don't believe your microphone is on. Yep, there you go.
And the next item is public forum. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak this evening? We will wait just in case someone's trying to come in the door. And seeing none, we will close public forum at 7:01. Okay, item 4, Town Council to consider acceptance of minutes. And we have 3 sets of minutes this evening, councilors. The first is, item A is the October 28th, 2023 Town Council Budget Work Session. And I would accept a motion to approve those minutes.
I will make the motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or corrections? Okay, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Glazebrook?
Aye.
Councilor LaMattina?
Abstain.
Councilor Dornbluth?
Aye.
Councilor White?
Abstain.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Connolly?
Aye.
Motion passes 502.
Your mic is off now, Colin.
Maybe
It's
mine will
just
be
gonna
next. It
travel
cycles
all the
down.
way down. All right. Item B, our second set of minutes, councilors, is the November 1st, 2023 non-public meeting minutes. And you have hard copies of those that were just passed out. So if I would accept a motion to approve those minutes.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
One second.
Great. Take a moment to review those. Is there any discussion or corrections? Okay. Not, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Glazebrook?
Aye.
Councilor LaMattina?
Aye.
Councilor Dornbluth?
Abstain.
Councilor White?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Connolly?
Aye.
Motion passes 601.
Excellent. And our final set of minutes is the November 1st Town Council meeting. I'd accept a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Again, any discussion or corrections? Okay, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Glazebrook?
Aye.
Councilor LaMattina?
Abstain.
Councilor Dornbluth?
Aye.
Councilor White?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Connolly?
Aye.
Motion passes 601.
Excellent. Thank you, councilors. And item number 5 is the report of the town manager. And so at this time, I will turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first item, I just want to, in my written report, I wanted to let the council know that the Northern New England Planning Conference was held last week in Newcastle. However, one session was a walking tour of Newmarket and all of our successes in redeveloping our downtown. There's about 25 people who joined, the community development director, the town engineer, and I on the tour. We brought them through the mills and downtown and the waterfront to show them what we have plans for and what we've already done. So just wanted to let the council know about that success. It's nice to be able to share that with other people from around the region. Just the town undertook a parking study in 2009 as part of the Main Street redevelopment project. As you're aware, we've had a number of issues trying to provide additional parking in the area. Last week I met with the director of Stratford Regional Planning Commission, who informed me that they now have an individual on staff that parking is their area of expertise. I've shared with them the previous study from 2009 to see what it would do to what it would take to update it with new data and ideas for the downtown. So just an FYI, when I requested the company to provide us with an update to that plan, it was going to be about $75,000. So this is a happy change, I think. We were notified by the state that certain provisions of the HB2, which is state budget, will provide one-time property tax relief through additional state highway grant money. This is similar to what we received last year, but less money, so about 33%. I did receive a letter today about where actual payment, which is $51,628. This money can supplement but not supplant the local budget. The next item is, I know some councilors have been questioning the installation of the new sign for the rec department. I just want to assure that the council as a whole that I have been working on this. Most of the time, it's not just a cut and dry is installing it, ordering and installing it. In late September, the Newmarket Housing Authority, whose land this is, approved the sign and requested the wording be changed. It was changed from Newmarket Housing Authority to Ernest Park Terrace. In addition, we need to reduce the height of the sign due to site issues. Originally, the top of the sign was going to be about 10 feet, but now it's down to 7 feet. To achieve this, we have to change the name from the Newmarket Rec Department to the Newmarket Recreation Complex, which allowed for the removal of additional signs, which were Leo Lando's Field, and that's why it says complex instead of department. I just want to share with some of you this to inform you again. It's not always easy to do something as simple as installing a sign. Municipal government tries to be reactive, but committees get involved, opinions are shared, and sometimes it get bogged down in the process. This goes to prove the old adage, a camel was a horse designed by a committee. We are now constructing the sign. In my unwritten report, as the council is aware, we did receive a notification from the Right to Know ombudsman for the state of New Hampshire that he has dismissed with prejudice the case of Clay versus the town of Newmarket at this time. So there is no longer a case for the town before the Right to Know ombudsman. And that is all I have tonight in my report.
Thank you, Town Manager. Any comments or questions for the Town Manager? Councilor Lamattina.
Can you say, what is the Gaga pit at the rec? Can you talk to that?
I don't know exactly what it is for a sporting kind of event. It's something that they play now. But it was something that was constructed.
I thought there was some kind of hole or
No.
something.
It's something that they constructed and they're using.
Oh, okay.
So,
My apologies.
yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, it's what the game is actually.
Thank you. Any other questions for the Town Manager? Councilor Blackstone.
I was just curious, is the intention on the parking to be accretive, or are we just going to charge a large enough fare to be able to pay the rent?
The parking?
So the parking lot that we're going
Oh,
to.
I haven't discussed that yet.
Yeah.
That'll be when the resolution comes up.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, okay, but I'm just asking what the town's plan is.
When the resolution comes
Okay.
up, I'll
Yeah.
discuss that. Yeah.
Any other questions for the Town Manager about the Town Manager report? Okay, thank you very much. Next item is department reports. Are there any questions or comments for the Town Manager, for anybody sort of about this month's department reports? Councilor Lamattina.
Just to kind of reiterate what Councilor Blackstone said, congratulations to Sean and Sam Hoffman for great service to town of Newmarket and environmental services. They're going to be awarded in January, I understand. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's great. Very respected by your peers.
Any other comments or questions about the department reports? I have a few. For the police department, awesome that crashes are a little bit lower this month than they had been, and congrats to the police department on the new cruiser. I did have a question. Chief Jordan had said that in general the budget was okay, but overtime was an area they were keeping an eye on. Is there something specific kind of going on that might push that?
Let me find out. I'm assuming usually if there's vacancies
Okay.
and with officers or illnesses that overtime tends to go up because they're just covering the shifts.
Okay.
But I will find out.
And again, kudos to the police department for all the community policing and just care of the community work that they do. It's greatly appreciated. Public Works folks, hey, congrats on fixing the drain pipe at Packers Falls in South Main. I did have a question sort of on the timeline for replacing the rest of the line. I know it's something that sounds like it was kind of maybe in the works at some point. Hey, look at that.
I can
Okay.
It's really a coordination item with them and how it fits in their overall maintenance and roadway paving schedule.
Awesome. Awesome.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes, Councilor Blackstone, go ahead.
Do we bill then DOT for the work that you did there?
For the repair piece of it, no, that
Yeah.
was a coordination item. They provided the pipe, and we provided the labor to get it done.
And the
because we wanted to
machine.
make sure that it was taken care of before we get into the winter months.
Right.
So we wanted to take care of it quickly, and the full repair of the more extensive system will be, more on them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. And yeah, like everybody else, congrats to Sam Heffron and congrats to you, Sean, on your awards from the New England Water Environment Association. That is so awesome. IT, that's congratulations that the library is now part of the town network. I think that's great, and I'm really glad that we've got. I'm going to screw up the names of these, like Mevo Start cameras, that are allowing us to cover sort of remote events. I think it's great for transparency and just and supports engagements. We're allowed to get more information to more people, and I think that's awesome. I'll talk about this in the closing comments as well, but one of the things that stood out in the rec center, besides all the great news, thanks to the rec center and Amy Gigandes for all of y'all's work, but the rec center needs
You mean the recreation
volunteers.
complex, right?
They need volunteers. So make sure to reach out to Amy Gigandes and get involved. They're good people, and they need good people. Okay. If there are no other comments on the department reports, we'll move into committee reports. Are there any committee reports this evening? Councilor White. Or I'm sorry, Councilor Ward.
Yes.
So sorry.
Okay, so the Conservation Commission met on the 9th. And there was a presentation on the master plan update for open spaces, covered by Mark McDonough and Autumn Scott from the Regional Planning Commission. The project is to update the conservation plan, for ways to improve water quality in town through conservation of open space. They've decided that they wanted to establish regular check-ins with the Regional Planning Commission at the Conservation Commission. So every month, someone will come from the Regional Planning Commission will come in so we can talk about, projects going forward. We looked at some items from a goal matrix from 2007 that are ongoing, and we are currently working on an open space survey that's going to go out to the citizens so they can talk, and so people can, in the community, can talk about, how they want, and how they would like to see the environment now protected, what kind of use of the open space, things, how much more the there was talk about maybe trying to hold like a conservation trivia night at Riverworks sometime. And there's some talk about the Boulder Drive Trail being repaired. And on January 8th at the Nature Conservatory, I can't remember where exactly, there's going to be an astronomy night. So if anyone's interested in astronomy, look that up. That's January 8th, 2024, so we all got time. But yeah, and that is it for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Councilor Ward. Any questions for Councilor Ward? I had a question about the survey. Is this about like the use and interest, like in general, of existing lands, or suggest like, oh, we think you should conserve this place, or?
Yeah, it's about the use of existing lands and what we might want to do in the future. So it's mostly about what we're doing now, if it's sufficient, and if not, what else can we be doing?
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other committee meetings? Oh, Councilor Blackstone.
So I was here last night until quite late,
Yes,
and
you were.
we're discussing this 55-plus housing unit. The 55-plus housing,
Just to clear, so this is a report from the Planning Commission?
yeah.
Okay.
Planning Board.
Planning
yeah,
Board.
Right. So the original proposal was something that kind of looks like a Holiday Inn and was strongly opposed by all the local residents. So they've come back with a new design, which is this. If anybody wants to see it afterward, I got all the drawings and everything. But this looks a lot, lot more like would blend into the community, and it got some positive response from some of the local residents. So we've kicked that down to we're gonna maybe have a final decision on that in our next meeting in December. Yeah.
And was that the only thing on the agenda for the planning board?
That was all we did all night.
That was it,
yeah.
okay. Any questions for Council Blackstone? Oh, Council White.
Did the redesign affect the overall number of units?
Yeah, dropped it by 2 units. It went from 32 to 30.
Oh, I did have a question. So did dropping the units from 32 to 30 reduce the overall height of the building or reduce the overall scale? Or is it just to accommodate the change to the dormered appearance sort of on the end there?
It was strictly an architectural, they had to give up some rooms to get this structure.
Okay.
The height of the building, the ordinance is 35 feet, this building is 32 feet. And they point out, if you walk down Main Street, there are several buildings that are in the 30s, 3-story buildings. The only point is then there isn't a huge building behind that building, right? Which makes this more like a complex than a building, right? Where in a rec department, complex is a good thing, and I think in a building it may not be as good.
Okay. Council Ward.
Just out of curiosity, does this change like their budget at all? Is this going to cost more? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
Okay.
We don't really care in the planning board.
Yeah, that's fair.
Any other questions for Council Blackstone? Okay, thank you very much. All right, other committee reports? Oh, Councilor Glazebrook.
The Arts, Culture, and Tourism Commission met, and they had their kind of kickoff planning meeting for the Willie Park advisory board that they have set up. Only a few people have showed up that are on the board that aren't also on the commission, but we started to talk about like when we can have our separate meetings for that and what that'll look like, and they planned out how they're going to do minutes for it and submit them to the town so that everything kind of falls under the umbrella of the Arts, Culture, Tourism Commission. More on that probably next meeting.
Awesome. Okay, any questions for Councilor Glazebrook? Councilor Blackstone.
I've always heard it called Wiley Park. Is it Willie Park?
I've heard it
Well,
Wiley.
Okay.
Oh, I was told Wiley.
Yeah. So a lot of people say Wiley.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying it.
Yeah.
Somebody at that meeting, a few people were saying Wiley, and then
Yeah.
somebody who knows the family or
Say no, it's Willie.
yeah.
Oh, right. So I've been mispronouncing it. Okay. Well, thank you.
Any other questions for Councilor Glazebrook? Okay, thank you very much. Any other committee reports? Okay, then we will move on to old business and resolutions and ordinances in the second reading. And this evening there are 5. So the first resolution ordinance in the second reading is Resolution 2023-2024, the septage receiving, -18, septage receiving station ARPA grant. And I would accept a motion to approve this resolution.
I will make the motion.
Excellent. Do I have a second?
I would second.
Thank you. And Sean Greer, you're here to speak to this one?
Yes.
Excellent.
So everyone knows we're working towards putting in a new septage receiving station. I went to the state and begged for some money, and they came up with $500,000 for us.
All right.
The reason this resolution is here, it's ARPA funds. It's one of the first, it's ARPA funds that were left over after a bunch of other projects were done, but we have to go through this process to actually receive those funds. So the council has to approve it, the town manager to approve these funds.
And Sean, this is to offset the cost of the item, the septage receiving equipment purchase in 19, or is this for something else?
It's for the whole project itself.
Okay.
It's not just for the equipment.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions or discussion?
Okay.
Counselor Glazberg.
This is going to be off of New Road, right? That's the plan?
Yes, it's going to be at the wastewater treatment facility.
Yeah, where currently it goes up that other,
It goes down Creighton Street.
yeah.
Yep.
Counselor Blackstone.
I haven't heard about ARPA money in a long time. You know, there was a time when it was just flowing everywhere. Is there still a bunch of ARPA money left, or this is kind of the last dregs of it?
This is the last drags of the original opera money, and it has to be spent by, I believe, January of '26.
Okay.
There are other ARPA monies out there, but they're coming through the State Revolving Loan Fund,
Oh, okay.
and they have a lot more additive
Yeah.
requirements to them.
Okay. Other questions? Any discussion or comments on this resolution? Okay. I think if we can get $500,000 to offset the cost of this project, I think I'm in favor. I think it's a good thing. So if there's no other discussion, if you could call the roll, please.
Counselor Blaisberg?
Aye.
Counselor Martinez?
Aye.
Counselor Dornbluth?
Aye.
Counselor White?
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone?
Aye.
Counselor Ward?
Aye.
Counselor Conlon?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Excellent. And then we will move right on to Resolution 2023-2024-19, the septic receiving equipment purchase, and I would accept a motion to approve that resolution.
I will make the motion.
Excellent. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Wonderful. John, you're going to get your standing in this evening, and if you could speak to this one.
Yes, so again, we are building a new septic receiving station to remove it from the Creighton Street location to the wastewater treatment facility. The whole project is in design, but we're trying to get most of the equipment ahead of time so we can get this done as soon as possible. We have put out to bid the equipment for the processing the sludge itself, the septic itself. We actually received one bid on the for the unit, and I'm looking tonight for the town council to approve the town manager to purchase the equipment at $295,444, and that is to come out of the septic receiving fund capital reserves.
Awesome.
I would buy it with the other ARPA funds, but those are going to take probably 3 months to get. So there's a lag on that because it has to go through Governor's Council.
Okay. Any questions or discussion on this? Counselor Glazberg.
You mentioned that we're still in the planning phase of it. Do you have any idea of like a timeline of when you plan to have this station kind of done?
It's hard right now. We're doing the engineering as quick as possible, but as everyone knows, the engineering firms are really backed up, and we're trying to get it done. I'm hoping to put this to bid to have it installed by hopefully May, which would be a fall construction. That's the hope.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, if you could call the roll, please.
Counselor Blaisberg?
Aye.
Counselor Martinez?
Aye.
Counselor Dornbluth?
Aye.
Counselor White?
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone?
Aye.
Counselor Ward?
Aye.
Counselor Conlon?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Excellent. Okay, resolution second reading number 3 is Resolution 2023-2024-20, the NCDC lease agreement with the Dame Road parking lot, and I would accept a motion to approve this resolution.
I will make the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Excellent. And Manager Fournier, if you'd speak to this one.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We were approached by the Newmarket Community Development Corporation to see if we were interested in entering into an agreement to lease the Dame Road lot. That was the one where the coffee kiosk used to be on. And for us to use it for additional parking, because they knew we have a parking issue, and they just wanted to be able to have some utilization of that lot until such time as they have a development proposal for that. We saw it as an opportunity to provide additional parking. Council Blackstone was asking about what we would charge, if we were to, if this were to be approved, we'd come forward with another plan to basically charge what we do for the Bay Road lot. That people can park overnight, they pay for a permit, and you do it that way. The other interesting thing would be exploring the possibility, if it's big enough, to have some sort of either food truck or something in the summertime, if somebody would be interested, because that would be another way to get some revenue. The cost to us would be, we'd waive, of course, the payment, they currently pay us a payment in lieu of taxes on it. It's minimal, because there's nothing on the lot. And we would also insure the lot, either through paying their portion. I'm actually discussing it with our own insurance to see if we can roll it in with us, because we believe it would be cheaper to do so. We would maintain it, we'd sign it, take down some stuff in there, but it would be basically until such time this development comes forward for it, we'd have an additional municipal lot, which is desperately needed.
Questions or discussion? Councillor Dornbluth, and then we'll go to you, Councillor Blackstone.
Try this thing again. What's the, what do you expect the utilization rate of that lot would be, and who would be the most likely customers?
So utilization, we don't know. I was surprised that, well, pleasantly surprised that Bay Road fills up as quick as it does. It could be anybody from the downtown area. We have a lot of renters that there's more than one vehicle per unit, but they just don't have a place to park. We do get calls all the time. So my only flip side concern would be, it is a little bit of a walk to downtown, or to the residential area, but we won't know until such time as we see it. I think people would still take it, be willing to do that. We've had interest for the Beach Street Extension lot. People can park at the Railroad Ave lot as well. So I just don't know the percentage that would be there.
And just to follow up, if I may, I know it's not working. The signage, what kind of signage are we talking about? Is this to invite people to park directly?
Yeah, it would be the typical blue P.
Yeah.
And just the regulations for the area. We'd go in and probably stripe it. May not be able to do it depending on the weather now. But yeah, it would just be the regular municipal parking and the regulations that we put in there.
Okay. Thank you.
And Councillor Blackstone, and then Councillor Ward.
So my question was, if we charge what we charge on Bay Road and we assume, I don't know, 70 or 80% occupancy, does that pay the insurance?
I don't know. I'd have to look.
Okay, so we don't know if it's accretive or whether it's neutral or...
Yeah.
Councillor Ward.
I was just going to ask, how many parking spaces are in that lot theory?
We don't know yet. We're still trying to...
Okay.
I know the Public Works Director is usually creative and be able to get some in there.
Okay.
So.
Councillor Matina.
If we do this, does that preclude it from the area from becoming something else?
Absolutely not. That was both of us concern. We have a 6-month window in there right now that either of us can terminate. But I think if something were to come forward and need it quicker, we would move faster.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we neither side wanted anything that would be permanent to have that happen.
Is the intent for long-term parking or short-term, like day parking?
Well, traditionally what we have been doing is you can park during the day for a certain amount of time, then at night, overnight, you need a permit.
Okay.
That way, get off the streets with snow, that kind of situation. During the day it's a shorter period to turn it over, but at night. And again, that may be something we play with, because again, the distance from downtown may have a different effect on that, and as well as businesses in the area we may need to look at. But yeah, it's more to assist with getting people additional parking.
Other questions for then I do have one more. So it's about a 10-minute walk from the Bay Road parking lot to, I think, Newberry Farms. Like on the short end, it's about 10 minutes. I can't recall on either side, is it sidewalked all the way down, or people just on the
Sidewalk.
kind of
Going-
it is sidewalk?
Driving south, it's sidewalk till about where Bay Road is, and then crosses, and then sidewalk on that side of the bridge, not on the other. It's only one side of the bridge, and then we have the crosswalk to bring you back over.
Okay,
So-
okay.
To flip it the other way, if you were walking down, you'd probably stay on the same side of the street all the way down till you get to downtown, and then cross over.
Okay. Okay, but there is sidewalk
Oh, yes.
for the entire journey in some way?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Oh, Councilor?
I'm just, parking's been the issue that's come up all the time for this, and so I'm glad that we've made some progress, and we now have a place for people to park again, or more places for people to park.
Councilor Dornbluth?
Yeah, it's hard to evaluate, it's obviously a good opportunity, since the lot is otherwise vacant and will look better, even if it's used as a parking lot. It's hard to evaluate whether, this is, going to be a success or not. So I'm glad that it's not a permanent solution, and if it doesn't work, we can easily terminate it.
It's definitely a Band-Aid, it's not a permanent solution.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's not permanent. I'm glad that it's, primarily, I guess, day parking. It's nice that we're getting the lot for basically nothing. That really, that helps. It'll be interesting to see sort of how we, what kind of planning that we do kind of moving forward to try and come up with a more permanent solution. But I think, as you said, it's a good use of land that's otherwise just, vacant.
It might be good to, I don't know, this has just popped into my head, so, bear with me here, but it may also be a good opportunity to talk about sharing rides and using it, as a commuter lot for people to park, then, hop into one car and continue on their journey.
Oh, Councilor Fournier, sorry.
Just because I forgot to bring this up in my report, and thank you, Councilor Dornbluth, for hinting at this. I have been in contact with Coast to come in to have a workshop session about the future of mass transit in the town. To go off a little bit, our next meeting, we are planning on having a workshop to discuss the facility study.
Okay.
So yes, it is on the agenda to have that discussion.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be funny if somebody started a coffee shop there?
Any other questions or discussion on this one? Okay. But if you could call the roll, please. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you have your hand up? Or you?
No,
Okay.
I was hitting the back button.
Trying to be responsive. If you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Blaisberg?
Aye.
Councilor Martina?
Aye.
Councilor Dornbluth?
Aye.
Councilor White?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Conley?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Excellent. And item D, resolution number 2023-2024-22, WA Sewer Collection System Bond. And Sean, I'll invite you to speak to this one.
Motion first.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, thank you. And I would accept a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Excellent. Now, I invite you to speak to this one.
So I received a $100,000 grant to look at our sewer system. We TV'd approximately 50,000 linear feet of this old sewers, and $1.75 million is the estimate to actually repair the necessary repairs that need to be done to the sewer system. I submitted this to the SRF program, and we ranked in the top 5 to receive state revolving loan, as I said before, yes.
Thank you.
Acronyms. So I submitted it, and we were in the top 5, and we are going to get awarded the chance for a $1.75 million bond with $612,000 of forgiveness. This
Right.
is a necessary item. Will have some impact a couple of years down the road when the loan actually hits. To the extent I'm not sure, it would be, depends on if it's a wet year or it's a dry year. Because infiltration through the pipes, through the bad parts of the pipes, depends on really how much rain you get. And we can range from having, in a year, 176 million gallons go through that wastewater treatment plant, or we can have 150 million gallons go through the wastewater treatment plant. But overall, it is going to save us monies on electricity from pumping. It's going to save us money on chemicals, and it's going to save us some money on treatment across the plant. Also will give us some capacity at the wastewater treatment facility. So there are a lot of things that it's going to help improve. So.
Okay. Questions or discussion? And we'll start with Councilor Dornblatt.
Can you give us an idea of what type of repairs we're looking at, what we're talking about?
You're talking cracks in pipes, you're talking connections of where services connect, you're talking holes in pipes, you're talking a variety of different issues, where some are going to be able, we're just going to be able to slip line it, through the manhole process.
Okay.
Some we're going to have to dig. It just depends on. And that one, there's other repairs that need to be done. It's just not to the extent that the ones we've selected. And if we are good and we're able to extend that money, we might be able to get into some additional repairs beyond what we're targeting.
So this is the first blush, all the stuff that's the worst.
The
that needs to
worst,
be taken care of.
yes.
Wow.
Other questions? Councilor Blackstone.
Will this have any impact on Moonlight Brook, you think?
I don't believe so, no. No. I believe all the cross connections to Moonlight Brook have been eliminated from the sewer system.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? I have a question you might not be able to answer. It's speculative. Like, what would happen, so this goes on the town warrant, what would happen if it's voted down?
We just wouldn't fix them.
We have to go back there. Very simple, yeah.
And we'd have to wait a year to do anything about it.
Right.
So, to the next year.
And you did say holes in the sewer system, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just to,
Councilor, or Manager Point.
just to let people know, that is common in
Yes.
municipal systems in general. It's not, yeah.
So we've done a lot of work on this. We've run a lot of manhole work in the past. Back in 2010, we actually replaced all the sewer down in the village because the pipes were so bad. So we've been working towards this and reducing the amount of water coming into the system. We actually worked really hard to reduce it before we built the new wastewater treatment plant to try and reduce the cost and what would happen when we started with a new facility. So it's something we're working on, and it's something you need to work on. So it's just a continual process.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion on this resolution?
Thank you.
Thank you. We have to fix it, so I guess I'm in favor of it.
50,000, that's 10 miles.
It's a lot.
That's a ways.
Okay, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Blaisdell?
Aye.
Councilor Martina?
Aye.
Councilor Dornbluth?
Aye.
Councilor White?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Conley?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay. Last resolution in second reading today is Resolution 2023-2024-23, and that is the Moonlight Brook Stormwater work. And I would accept a motion to approve this resolution.
I will make the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Excellent. And Lindsay Butler can come up and speak to this one. Thank you, Lindsay.
Good evening. So this resolution in this warrant article is to request authority to borrow a Clean Water SRF stormwater planning loan to investigate the stormwater infrastructure that discharges to Moonlight Brook. So this will be some concentrated efforts on outfall sampling, catchment investigation, and identification of sources for potential elimination in hopes to address the bacteria load within Moonlight Brook and do our part to ensure that the municipal infrastructure isn't contributing to that bacteria load. So this, I guess, any questions on that?
Councilor Dornbluth.
So the work would be exclusive to municipal infrastructure and no other inflows that might be contributing to the situation. Moonlight Brook would be under the purview of the...
Primarily the municipal infrastructure, not necessarily private infrastructure, unless the private infrastructure is somehow tied to the municipal infrastructure, but we have done a lot of work to make sure that those connections aren't there. So it's an effort to identify where those sources may be. There probably will, I shouldn't say probably, there may be some sources that are private sources that are identified through the process. We may not necessarily be able to actively remove it as part of this project, but having it identified and developing a plan for removal, then we can proceed forward through that.
Councilor Black?
This loan, is there any forgivable portion of
Yes.
this? Yeah.
Excellent point, I missed that part. We've requested $73,500 from DES, and this project is listed in the list of projects to be funded in the next round with 100% principal forgiveness.
Ah.
So it will be...
So you're even better than Sean here.
On this one, yes.
You're doing good work, Sean.
And is this involve UNH?
Not necessarily with this scope of work. This will
Okay.
be building upon the work that they've done in their work with the Lamprey River Advisory Committee to monitor.
So this is just you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been focused more on the stream itself and the open water flows, and we're going to be focusing on our discharges into that.
Right.
Other questions or discussion? I have a procedural question. And again, you may not be able to answer it. What is it, why is it that this goes to the town warrant? Like, why isn't this just something like, oh, we need to investigate this, we'll just do that thing? Yes, Town Manager.
We are entering into a loan, so we're issuing debt on behalf of the town. The council can't do that. That has to go before the voters under our current form of government.
Excellent. Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it. Awesome. Okay.
Which is a discussion I'd like to have at some point the next year. That's what the current.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion on this resolution? Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
I think that particularly since we're on the track to be funded to do this, it ends up being net zero in terms of cost. I think it's been an ongoing issue and one that we appreciate that the Lamprey River Advisory Committee and your kind of counsel and guidance, Lindsay. We appreciate that the town is working to try and identify this. It's been knotty and frustrating and ongoing, and really hoping that this will help us get to a resolution and figure out what to do on it. So thank you. Okay. If there are no other comments or discussion, Wendy, if you could call the roll, please.
Councilor Blaisberg?
Aye.
Councilor Martina?
Aye.
Councilor Dornbluth?
Aye.
Councilor White?
Aye.
Councilor Blackstone?
Aye.
Councilor Ward?
Aye.
Councilor Conley?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay. The next item on our agenda this evening is resolutions and ordinances. In the first reading, there are two, so councilors get out a small hot cocoa. The first one is, let's see, Resolution 2023-2024-21, and that is a warrant article for the issuance of $300,000 in bonds for the purpose of water infrastructure improvements to replace water system services in compliance with federal lead and copper rule. Whereas it is the wish of the town council to include on the town warrant the following proposed warrant article for the issuance of $300,000 in bonds for the purpose of water infrastructure improvements to replace water system services in compliance with the federal lead and copper rule. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $300,000 and no cents for the purpose of all work needed to identify, engineer, purchase of materials, and replace water system services, improving compliance with the federal lead and copper rule. Such sum to be raised by the issuance of serial bonds or notes not to exceed $300,000 under and in compliance with provisions of the Municipal Finance Act, NHRSA 33-1, etc., as amended, and to authorize the town council to issue and negotiate such bonds or notes, and to determine the date, term of payment, and rate of interest thereon. Further, to take such other actions as may be necessary to effect the issuance, negotiation, sale, and delivery of such bonds or notes as shall be in the best interest of the town of Newmarket, New Hampshire. Additionally, to authorize the town council to apply for, receive, and expend federal and state grants which may at any time become available in accordance with RSA 31-95B, and to apply for, receive, and expend money from any other governmental unit or private source to be used for purposes which the town council may legally appropriate money. It is anticipated that the town will receive up to $210,000 in principal forgiveness from the State Revolving Fund Loan Program. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the Newmarket Town Council include the above proposed warrant article on the town warrant and recommend the warrant article for passage. Sponsored by Chair Conley by request. First reading, November 15th, 2023. And the second resolution in the first reading this evening is resolution number 2024-25, Fire Department per diem supplement. Whereas the fire department has a need to supplement part-time salaries in the current operating budget for per diem shifts, and whereas the Ambulance Fund 14 is an approved funding resource to be utilized for this purpose, and whereas the town has an Ambulance Revolving Fund 14 already established which names the town council as agents. Now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that $100,000 be withdrawn from the Ambulance Revolving Fund 14 to supplement part-time salaries in the fire department operating budget. Sponsored by Chair Conley by request. First reading, November 15th, 2023. And that ends the resolutions and ordinances in the first reading. We will now move on to new business and correspondence. Item A is a correspondence. Is there any correspondence to the town council?
There is none.
Okay, thank you. And then item B is closing comments. Are there any closing comments town councilors wish to make this evening? Just checking, making sure. I had just a couple of questions. One, we got the parking suggestion from Mike Hoffman, that email that came through, and I just had a question about the feasibility of kind of what he's talking about. If it's feasible to add another spot there, and or whether the intent is to instead allow motorcycle parking sort of in that little triangle section or not.
Yeah, this has been a passion of Mr. Hoffman's for a number of years.
Okay.
We were informed by the engineers when we redid the downtown that that is not possible. However, we will ask if we get the study going, if that is a solution that we could do.
It's not, so the town engineers are saying it's not possible to add another space, or it's not possible to allow a moped
one
to
in
park?
that spot.
Okay.
Where is this spot?
So you know if any parking on Main Street where we didn't want to have vehicles, we put the faux brick.
Oh, right, yeah.
They want to put motorcycles in those spots.
But that's the walkway, right?
No.
It's not. It's sort of the...
Space between
It
the...
abuts the walkway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like the curb, and then there's a little bit of space, and then there's the walkway.
I have
okay.
seen it in other parts of the country. I have not seen it in New Hampshire.
Awesome, but you're gonna find
No,
out.
ask her,
Okay.
yeah.
Yay. And there's a street light out on Langs and Winslow.
Okay. That's a good time to say this. Anybody who sees a street light out, please let us know.
Okay.
We do not pay for street lights by a billable hour like you do your meters. We just pay a flat fee. So
Okay.
we're paying whether or not they're on. So
Okay.
street light, Winslow,
Winslow and Langs.
thanks.
Okay. And my only other comment is just to remind folks, there are a lot of opportunities to get engaged and get involved, and volunteering both for committees and for great organizations like the Rec Department are some excellent ways, and would really just encourage folks to check out the Newmarket Rec Department, email Amy Gigandes, who is just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person and a tremendous asset to the town. If you've got time that you can donate, they are very, very happy, and there is a tremendous need. So so reach out, get involved. We'd love to see you down there.
Just good thing, another thing to remind me that broke today. January 23rd, we'll need volunteers, and the council, please schedule it now, because it is announced as the presidential primary for the state of New Hampshire.
All right.
January.
So we will need a majority of the council that evening, and if the public, they always need ballot clerks and assistants on that day, people help vote. So, please.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you know what day of the week that is?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah.
And always, they thought it may have been Saturday this
Oh,
year.
yeah. That would be good.
Yeah.
I think Saturdays would be excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This feels a bit earlier than normal, doesn't
First
it?
and then-
No, because there was times when they were fighting over this a few years back, and it was almost Christmas.
Oh.
It was like the first week in January.
Okay. Any other closing comments?
Just a question about the facility study or workshop. Is that going to be December 6th?
Yes.
Just an hour we
Yeah.
scheduling for that?
Yep. If we need more, we'll bring it in, but yeah, everyone should have a copy of the study, so it should be, we've been going over it a lot. This is a chance to ask them some questions. They're gonna do a quick presentation, then ask questions. I'm not asking for any decisions. I just want you guys to be able to start getting this out there, and I'm probably gonna do something similar for the municipal budget committee in the near future.
And so it makes sense to review that as best you can and come ready for those, ready with any questions that you have. Okay. Any other closing comments? All right. The next meeting is December 6th, 2023. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And if there are no objections, I will consider us adjourned.